Greetings from Storybrooke. I am Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And this is an attempt to keep track of ABCs. We also talk about ABC's hit series, Once Upon a Time. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
I am fantastic.
Why are you giggling?
I don't know.
Stop giggling. This is not a fun podcast.
This is not fun.
Stop having... Okay, we can have just a little bit of fun. Just a little bit of
Lots
fun.
of fun.
And as always, and
the villagers rejoiced.
You just heard that very monotone yay from our guest this week, Amy. How you doing, Amy?
I'm doing fine, Bill. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I hear you have a dog in the room with you, right? So
yes, I do.
If there's any barking, people you're not being chased by a dog in your car
nope.
or anything like that. It's Amy. Blame
right.
Amy.
If you hear anybody going, it's probably the dog.
Probably.
Yeah. He whines mostly, so if you hear that, that's probably him.
See, but the whining could totally be me too. I'm pretty whiny.
Well, he seems to think if I don't feed him, he'll die in that moment, like drop dead right there on the floor. So that's probably most likely what's going on.
Very short attention span.
I like it.
Okay, Anne-Marie, you want to go ahead and start us off with the writing summary?
Sure. You weren't going to tell people how to sign up to be a guest?
Oh, yeah.
We do still have opportunities.
We do have some spots left for this half season. If you want to be a guest like Amy, you can sign up at bit.ly/beongreetings, all one mashed up try-word.
You know,
bit.ly/beongreetings, and there's a link on our website for it, too.
True story. Okay. Regina is offloading her work to the mirror. Sidney wants out, but he sort of still fears her. Emma and Elsa are looking for help, but Elsa runs off when she hears Anna's yelp. Regina's reception towards Emma is cold, but out on the ice bridge a secret is told. The mirror assembled. Our heroes outclassed. The genie is free in this week's Breaking Glass.
Breaking Glass. So, we'll start with Amy. Amy, what did you think of this week's episode?
I thought it was good. A little better than last week. Last week I only kind of liked bits and pieces of it. I liked Emma's backstory. I liked how we got to see more of her childhood, I guess. Not necessarily when she was with Neil, but before that. At that point. But it kind of didn't turn out, I don't think. But other than that, it was pretty good. I also like the fact that Sidney kind of turned on Regina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get a little deeper into that here in a couple minutes. Anne-Marie, what did you think overall?
Don't mind me while I drink my Haterade.
Your Haterade?
Haterade!
You have Haterade in that cup?
I've got some nice warm green tea flavored Haterade.
Oh, Haterade. That's
We're Haterating on the level of Tallahassee.
Like Tallahassee Haterading.
I
may have fallen asleep during the episode last night.
On purpose.
Yeah,
Possibly.
Okay,
well.
There were moments. How about you? What did you think?
Overall, I was kind of cool on it too.
Yeah, you were cool on it. Really? You're gonna go there?
Yes.
Don't be that guy.
Oh, sorry, I was cold.
Cold.
But no, I thought I definitely like the episode 2 weeks back. I thought this episode definitely suffered from having the Frozen storyline included in it a bit. And it felt like a whole bunch of dramatic things thrown together without a lot of sense to it. You know what I mean? But I don't want to seem too haterady like you.
I will haterade all day long.
Maybe just a little haterady, but I figured we'd start with something positive, something I liked, and I really enjoyed Swan Queen United. The sort of it was a bit of a bickering.
It was a bit of a struggle there.
Bickering back and forth, but I really loved, in the end, Regina finally admitted that she doesn't want to kill Emma Swan.
She doesn't want to kill her. It doesn't mean she likes her
but
in any way, shape, or form.
That's a big step for Regina. That's definitely a big step for Regina.
And they've always bickered before, like about Henry and stuff like that too, so it seemed like a normal kind of dynamic between the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
My opinion. Anyway.
I think that Regina, she just doesn't want to be happy or let people forgive her or go. She's ready morally from a place inside herself to move on from being the evil queen, but she just won't.
But her heart's broken.
her heart's broken, and I think it just completely threw her back into where she doesn't think she can change. She doesn't think she can be strong without being kind of.
She's turning emo.
Yeah.
She's basically turning into.
She's
an
not
emo
the
kid.
evil queen. She's the emo queen. So. And I definitely enjoyed them teaming up with their magical powers, which I believe last time we saw that was on a bridge across a ravine.
Yeah.
Last season.
Yeah. There's been a lot of that.
But them fighting the Draugr from Skyrim was nice.
Is that what it was?
That's completely what it looked like. That
I saw it as Warrior Marshmallow.
Warrior Marshmallow?
That's how I looked at it. Just like Sir Marshmallow with armor on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, the scene, like, I see where they were going and why they did it, with the whole getting them to come together, realize that, oh, look, I can't do it by myself, but together we can defeat it!
Just weren't feeling it?
No, like, seriously, we've already had Marshmallow, we have this giant ice wall, like, did we really need this ice monster? No.
Like, it seemed a little tacked on, and it seemed like it would have been cooler to have a throwdown with the Snow Queen herself.
Yes!
For sure.
Yes! Can we actually have, like, a real battle? No.
I bet that won't come until, like, the end of the half season, like, right before they go on to break or something like that. It'll be like this big epic battle or something like that.
Well, when you have two magical queens who one of their main abilities is to be able to disappear in a puff of smoke, it's going to take a while to get them together in the same room.
This is very true.
They're not going to be together in the same room unless they want to be. But I think if nothing else, that last scene between Emma and Regina, next step they're going to be total besties. Guaranteed.
Yeah, they really will.
Guaranteed. Okay, Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie.
You had a point here you'd like to speak on.
So this episode, like the overall theme that I sort of got is looking for family, which is strange because, they're all related and they're all in the same town. But through the flashbacks and everything, because the Snow Queen basically says she's just looking for a family that loves her. And then we kind of realize that they're all sort of looking for their family. Emma in the flashback is just looking for anybody to be her family. Regina, we know, has always been looking for some sort of family aspect. Snow Queen flat out says it. The Knave, I feel, is looking for his family.
He's looking for Anastasia or something, I think.
Looking for Anastasia, I think.
Yeah, he definitely has something going on. He's not just the town drunk or anything.
He is not just a boozy bookworm. Not a boozy bookworm. I mean, he is, but he isn't. So that just seemed like that. But that they all regretted something that they did in the past, trying to achieve this. Like Emma said, she regretted not keeping Lily's friendship. Regina, we know, has had regret time and time again. One of those being not killing Marion any sooner. The Knave, we know he's regretted things. He did a lot in Wonderland, but of course anybody who didn't watch Wonderland has no idea what's going on and why is there this boozy bookworm. So what did Snow Queen regret? That's something that's,
Maybe losing Emma, because it was the way she looked at her when she found out she was or when they first kind of met. Look on her face, she looked like she wanted her to remember something, but she wasn't remembering it. So maybe she's regretting Emma in some shape or form that we don't know yet.
Or something that happened back there in the past.
But which past, though? Is it going to be, child Emma, where, Snow Queen was the home lady, or is it going to be first coming to Storybrooke Emma with, I don't know, Ice Cream Lady Snow Queen? That nobody remembers. That's the thing. She wiped everybody's memories.
Well, it seems like definitely just like from the order of the pictures and like that timeline and stuff, because we watched a lot of those first season episodes over the summer for the commentaries, and like it seems like the timeline probably would have been like within the first 4 or 5 episodes. I would think.
Easy.
Are we sure it was her that changed their memories though? Because she could have made like a deal with Rumple and somehow, and he wiped their memories for some reason.
Because he still had some memory then.
Yeah, he had a slight. Only when he heard Emma.
So it remains to be seen.
It's one of the many mysteries, I guess.
Yes. Uh, I wonder if she removes memories by brain freeze or something.
Something.
Okay, Amy, you want to talk a little bit about the Emma flashback and everything?
Oh yeah, I liked the Emma flashback just because it was a different Emma we were seeing, not the one from Tallahassee. I guess it was the younger Emma. Um, I had a crazy random theory about her friend because I kind of thought maybe she was the Snow Queen, maybe. You know, maybe because she mentioned like she was looking for family and all that kind of stuff. I thought maybe for a brief second, kind of more than a brief second until they kind of ruined it, but at the very end. But I just kind of thought that maybe she was the Snow Queen with just the way she was acting towards Emma, maybe, and stuff like that. I mean, but that was just a random theory that I had.
Couple thoughts about her later on, but I think it's definitely possible that she could be working with or involved with the Snow Queen somehow in the real world. Especially considering, based on the contents of the video cassette, that the next place Emma goes after that incident with Lily and everything is to the foster home with Snow Queen, sticking her big old twisted face up in the lens.
How did she not remember that she was on camera?
Oh, who, the Snow Queen?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe she does or doesn't think about it or thinks Emma would have lost it.
Yeah, I guess.
Which would make sense.
I just think we're going to see Lily, whether it be in the present or maybe more memories involving Lily.
Oh, if we're going to see more of Lily?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to see more of her.
Oh, definitely.
I could see that come back.
Like, in one sense, I guess I can talk a little bit about my points down here since we're already talking about Lily. Where was it here? Yeah, it definitely seemed like she could have just been a character that was created solely to provide like a thematic counterpoint to Regina, and she even looked a little like Regina.
Yeah, well, that was specific or on purpose.
But so I kind of think she could have totally been created just for that purpose. We'll never hear of her again. But they did. There were a lot of dog whistles. Sorry, Amy, if your dog starts yelling. But there were a lot of little dog whistles for people who might be theorizing that she might have a little more significance, like the star tattoo, which Emma has a tattoo of.
It's not a star. She had it was a flower.
Was it a lily?
No.
Okay.
I did a disgusting amount of research on that.
Yeah, because I remember that was one of the first kind of rat holes you fell down as far as theories.
It really was.
Show.
I was like, what is it?
Emma's tattoo.
I never saw a tattoo, so every time someone mentioned a tattoo, I was just sitting there going, I'd never seen a tattoo, but I've never really looked that closely before either. So
I think it was in Tallahassee actually when she was like, drop the the watches or whatever.
Yeah.
It is the same flower that is on the Prince Charming's crest back in the forest. So there was that link, and there was before, obviously it was before she knew. You're pulling it up, aren't you?
Yeah, here I found it on our site here. Oh, yeah, it's a little flower.
It's like a daisy.
Here, let me screen share this here. And you can, if you just go to greetingsfromstorybrooke.com and search for tattoo, it's from episode 7, Into the Red Room. Here's the tattoo, if you can see it there. Yeah, it's just a little flower. That could be a lily.
No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's definitely the same spot and everything, which is interesting. Here, let me go ahead and...
Maybe it's to cover up the memory.
Could be.
Oh.
Put a different memory on that spot. I don't know.
But that was one thing, is just like that star tattoo being in the same spot as her tattoo, and then the Harry Potter mention that she gave, like maybe she's special, and then also that she was adopted. And
but can we even believe her?
Not necessarily. But the thing is, I don't think it's necessarily. I didn't think it was very believable that was actually her dad. Like, I mean. They kind of made it to where it could have been, but it could have not been too. Like it could have been someone from like, I don't know, like the Home Office.
I was gonna say her daddy.
Or or whatever that was pursuing her. I think it probably was her adopted father, but I still think there's a huge possibility for her to have some sort of enchanted forest lineage somewhere in her past, or be connected somehow to these other magical characters we see in the real world, like Snow Queen,
right?
Or the dragon from way back in the day.
Oh, the dragon.
Way back in the day. And I also just wanted to mention, it probably doesn't mean anything, but Lilith was, she's basically like, depending on the mythology, I think in the Hebrew mythology, she's like a she-devil kind of thing.
And in the Harry Potter mythology, Lily is Harry Potter's mom.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, it's just because she made a Harry Potter reference
Mhm.
that, of course, I had to point that out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Of course.
Of course.
But
You got to point out every Harry Potter reference. It's law.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it could add up to something. It could just be dropped right
Oh.
here. I think personally that it was probably just a one-off kind of to make the point.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Patty's pointing out that Lillian is also the name of Walt Disney's wife, who was the
Oh,
one.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, interesting.
I actually knew that, and I forgot about it.
Shasha says, that has nothing to do with the episode, but it was interesting. But it could have something to do with the episode, Patty. It could.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so any other thoughts on the Emma-based flashback before we move on? Emery?
I liked it. I mean, I really enjoyed the whole relationship, and I loved the 90s clothes. I mean, because...
And the PlayStation 1 and the big box TV that would kill a person if it fell on them.
Yeah, it was good.
All those nostalgic 90s references.
Yeah.
You only get if you were a 90s kid. Okay,
90s kid.
now a lot of the Snow Queen's stuff in this episode
Good.
really tied back into the original Hans Christian Andersen story of the Snow Queen. Now, I was going to go in and do all the due diligence research, read the original story, read academic papers on the original story, but then I checked the voicemail, and Michael Lucero did it all for us. I think he actually just did it off the top of his head.
He probably
But
did.
he's like a genius anyway.
Oh, that Michael Lucero.
So we'll go ahead and play this, and this will explain, the original story and how everything that happened in this episode ties in.
Hey, Bill and Marie, this is Michael Lucero. Just wanted to give you a little background on the episode. I wasn't really surprised by that ending. I was kind of expecting it, and that's really kind of what the Snow Queen does in the original story. She kind of picks up waits who don't have homes and takes them back to her own home. The idea of the mirror, it's from the original Snow Queen story by Christian Andersen. And in that story, the mirror actually belonged to an evil troll. And it broke into like a whole bunch of pieces and then fell into people's eyes and made them only see the evil parts of other people and things that they looked at. And one of the shards fell into a little boy's eye and made him leave his own home. And Snow Queen picked him up and took him back to her lair. So his sister goes out searching for him, and this is where the Frozen story's origin actually comes in, and eventually finds him, and by that time his heart is almost completely frozen, and her tears melt his frozen heart, and his own tears dislodge the glass from his eye, which ends up saving him. My only theory about where the writers of Once are going with this is that maybe they're latching onto the part where Kay, the boy from the original story, is taken in by the Snow Queen when the shard got in his eye. They could be, reinterpreting this to mean that the mirror will make you want to be part of the Snow Queen's family. So it's interesting that here the Queen is building a mirror from shards from many different people's sources instead of a mirror shattering and spreading to many other people's lives. Classic Once inversion. Anyway, just thought I'd give you some background on that. Take care and can't wait to hear the episode. Bye.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Wow, people research and know things.
I know, insightful as always. Anytime he leaves a voicemail, I know it's going to be good.
Sometimes I
And it's
feel
gonna be great.
very not so smart on this podcast.
That's fine, because our listeners are
Listeners are smart.
are smarter than we could ever be.
I'm just
So.
sassy.
Sassy. Okay, speaking of sassy, this has nothing to do with being sassy. But if you weren't aware, we've been doing T-shirts the past few weeks.
We've been playing Pimp My T-shirt, basically.
Yes, and if you're listening to us live on Monday night when we're recording this, you have a couple hours left to pick one up. But we made the goal, so the T-shirts are going to be made. We're very excited.
So we shouldn't mention that we lowered the goal or got the goal.
Yeah, thanks to and we definitely want to
Thank you,
thank.
Sebastian.
Yeah, thanks to Sebastian, the artist of the T-shirt, who lowered it for us, and thanks to Hope, who suggested it to us.
Oh, she suggested the
Yes,
lowering?
she suggested it, and Sebastian went and checked on it, and he was like, "Yeah, I can do it." So
Score, because I
And-
really, really wanted my T-shirts.
yeah,
It's
and
very plural.
and
Whatever.
Hope was really instrumental. She moved some shirts for us, so thank
She
you
did.
very much.
She did. There will be a little thank you coming to you, sister. There's a
Yes.
thank you coming.
And we definitely, everyone who ordered shirts, we would love if you could send us pics. We want pics of you guys in your shirts.
Storybrooke selfie?
Storybrooke
Hashtag
selfie.
Storybrooke selfie?
I like it. I
Do
like it. You tweet it out or Facebook it out or whatever.
Instagram, I'm on there.
Mhm.
Find me.
Hashtag Storybrooke selfie.
Yes.
And also, we promised that if we reach the goal, even though if we reach the goal, that we would do 2. And 1 voted on by you guys. We're going to decide that in the next couple weeks, figure out when all that's going on. We'll probably split it over like 2 nights or something, but we'll probably stream them live and all that. It'll be fun. It'll be a little party.
Be good times.
We'll wear our T-shirts too. Okay, but speaking of, before we get back into the discussion, just one thing we wanted to mention: we have an 100th episode coming up here soon, right? And this also ties into a little bit of once-related news too. Now, the 100th episode we're going to record on Monday.
Sorry, I'm really excited. I'm like shaking with joy.
Monday, November 17th.
Ooh.
Yeah, my voice just went back.
Okay, so on November 17th, I'm just buying time because I don't really know where you're going.
Monday, November 17th at 8:30 p.m. EST, we're going to be recording our 100th episode live.
Don't mind me, just gesturing.
She was doing hand gestures to the camera.
0.
But it's also going to coincide with the same week that we're going to have a double episode of Once Upon a Time, because our big story here
It's like they knew.
is that the 8th episode of season 4 of Once Upon a Time, Smash the Mirror, has been extended to be
another mirror episode.
Yes, to be a double episode that includes basically, originally the episode order was 22 episodes. It's been extended to 23, so this double episode counts as 2 episodes, but we're not losing any episodes off the back half.
That's the key part,
So
is that we didn't lose.
So it's going to afford us the opportunity to go ahead and have a little bit of an extra long episode for our 100th episode. And we wanted to, we're not going to have any guests. It's just going to be old-fashioned, me and Anne-Marie.
Mm-hmm.
And we were wanting people to leave us voicemails at 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Just to kind of play at the end, we wanted to know how and when you found out about the show.
Mm-hmm. Our show or the show?
Our show, Greetings from Storybrooke. What's your favorite part of our show, Greetings from Storybrooke? And what do you think we could improve? And we'll play them all towards the end of the episode, and we'll be active in the last half of the episode in the chat room like crazy.
Crazy.
Taking questions from the chat room and everything. It'll be a good time. 100th episode spectacular, November 17th. Excellent. Okay, now we'll get back to the main discussion here.
Yes, as we were.
One thing I wanted to mention, a little check-in on the Captain Swan action this week, which was Team Bill Meeks, my preferred ship last year. I'm enjoying seeing sort of the Emma being in a casual relationship where like he can just like dip in for a second, give her a kiss on the cheek, roll out. They can hold hands while watching old movies.
And where he tries to get in tight with Henry, as the knave likes to point out, yes, get in with the son to get in with the mother.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, the sailing trip, or they went sailing.
I don't even know what they did.
I would have liked to have seen that deleted scene, especially that's interesting.
Did we get a deleted scene this week?
I don't think so.
Maybe they've listened in the fact that the deleted scenes are all better than the regular episode.
But that whole dynamic is even more interesting considering what's going on with Hook and Rumple right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry's working for Rumple.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wonder if maybe we might get a little peek at the sailing sometime later on, or maybe how that whole dynamic's working. You know,
I just hope we see Henry work in Gold Shop at some point, just to see how that works out and stuff.
Oh yeah, but besides just the little sweeping we got last week.
Yeah, maybe him trying to sell something to a customer or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll probably get some of that next week since the episode's called Family Business.
I would hope.
It seems like it would make sense. But we'll discuss that a little bit more. You okay there?
Pardon me.
We'll discuss that a little bit more when we get to the promo a little bit later. But one more thought on Captain Swan this week before we move on.
I agree.
We need the eyeliner back.
Bring back the guy liner.
The guy liner.
Bring back the guy liner.
Hook needs his guy liner. He just doesn't look right without it. He doesn't look Hook.
He doesn't look Hook at all.
He does not look Hook.
I need the guy liner back.
I think we should tweet out to
how many tweeting things are we doing this week?
The production team, Colin, and just hashtag look Hook.
Look Hook.
Hashtag look Hook. Hashtag guy liner. Hashtag. Now. Hashtag
Bill Meeks is crazy. Okay, so this is one of my many issues with this episode. I feel like everything that happened just is like poof, bye-bye. Like I sat down to watch it and I'm like, I feel like this was like could have been in place of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nothing carried over. There was, other than I'm taking Henry on a boat trip, there was no Henry, and Henry was pretty pivotal last week. There was no Rumple. There was no mentions of the apprentice. There was no, hey, that old guy on the corner, he disappeared. What happened to him?
There was no Hook trying to cover when it came to lying to Emma about killing somebody.
Right. There was, the closest thing we got was a glare between Hook, and a snarky word between Hook and the knave.
Yeah.
And
that's something else I was thinking too. Cause at first I was thinking, this is 2 episodes, no drama for Emma in a relationship. It must be like a record for her in a relationship.
It seriously is, yes.
But then I was thinking, no, like the subtext floating behind all of these scenes is that whole deal with Rumple now.
And it just means something bigger is going to happen down the line. Like it's all peace and everything now, but there's going to be probably a big, huge fight between them at some point.
It's going to be ugly because it's a trust thing, which what we've noticed is her problem is if you lie to her, trust and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but last week it felt like we were watching a chess game, like several moves in a chess game. This week it felt like one move.
Maybe.
And that one move was the mirror and Sidney breaking free and everything.
Like I feel like this didn't move very much at all, except for that little bit. And like I said, it took forever for them to get to the point.
Yeah.
So.
And even everyone guessed that the Snow Queen was probably going to be a foster mom of Emma's. It was a common theme between everyone. It was no big surprise.
No. It was not even remotely a surprise.
Her like coming up to the camera like this.
Okay, that
was a surprise.
That was a bit of a surprise.
But for the audio listeners, I just made a very silly face to the camera. Amy, you wanted to talk a little bit about Sidney this episode, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I have a rant of sorts about Sidney.
Rant away,
I've never really been a big, huge fan of Sidney because he seemed to always be a pushover when it came to Regina. Like he'd seem like this big, strong character, I'll do whatever I want kind of thing, but then all of a sudden Regina says jump and he jumps 20 feet high or something like that. So when he flipped on Regina to go over with the Ice Queen, that made me happy because it finally felt like he had the courage to, not be Regina's lapdog, for lack of, that's made it him a better character to me anyway. I mean, I didn't really miss Sidney when he was gone, really, probably because of that, because I didn't want to see him, be all whiny around the Queen, him willing to be hit her scapegoat for the most part. So, yeah, that was...
Everybody missed him. Like, when Emma said, where is Sidney? Has anybody seen him? I was thinking to myself, it's been 2 years and nobody's asked that question.
Well, yeah, you're just now asking that?
Like, stuff's happened, sure, I understand, but nobody noticed he was missing till now?
Like, I enjoy the actor. I miss the actor, for sure.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like it was, I don't know,
Well, I can definitely see that perspective, but I don't know if he necessarily like, because I've been thinking a lot about Sidney lately, and like I don't know if he necessarily flipped on Regina so much as he got tired of waiting around on Regina and tried to move to the next most powerful player on the board. Like, I'm starting to think that Sidney might, we've been talking the past 2 years or whatever we've been doing this podcast about a big, big bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think more and more to kind of guide Regina and help Regina accomplish the goal of the curse so he could further his own goals.
Okay.
And, this ties into a bunch of stuff. I mean...
I am kind of interested in seeing what...
Oh, go ahead, Amy.
Hello?
Oh, sorry. I thought my computer's lagging, so I couldn't tell whether or not y'all were talking or not. But I was just going to say that I'm really interested in seeing what he's going to do outside the mirror now. Like, is he going to help the Ice Queen and be her lackey now? Or is he's gonna try to get back into Regina's good graces by giving her information on the Ice Queen, or try to get in Emma's good graces, for all I know? So stuff like, I'm just interested to see what he's gonna do outside the mirror. Or is he just gonna go on and live his life?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see, like, he obviously still has his genie powers, I think, because when they were on the ice bridge, when the wind started, how did Regina, I don't know what she was looking at that she knew it was Sidney.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was compact.
Right, I'm like, he's in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking straight ahead, and you're like, Sidney, and I'm like, how? What is going on? Is there like a flying Sidney head?
I think she just kind of assumed that he had led her astray at that point.
Right. It just seemed really weird. Like it just dawned on her, or like she saw something, and there was nothing there. It was the wind.
Well, I think it's definitely interesting. Like, I think this is the first time since we met Sidney, like in his first flashback, that he's been... Because I do think the Snow Queen kind of freed him. Right. Like the genie in Aladdin gets freed.
She straight up said, I don't want anything. Goodbye.
Yeah, so it'll be the first time he's out there operating under his own auspices and everything. And
I don't believe that, though, that she doesn't want anything. I think she is going to say that now, but then go to him later going, okay, well, I freed you. You owe me one. Kind of thing, even though she says, I just have a think it's going to come back and bite him, basically.
I could see that.
Oh, definitely. But like, my main thing is, we've talked the past few weeks about how Sidney is an anagram for Yensid, which is an anagram for Disney, and Yensid's the wizard from Sorcerer's Apprentice, and we still haven't seen that wizard. And we've also, I was thinking about it, we've never seen Rumpel interact with the mirror. So if Rumpel was aware of the apprentice, and he had, like, he wouldn't have there's never been an opportunity for him to recognize Sidney as the apprentice.
Interesting.
So I'm thinking maybe Sidney's even the person who authored the book.
I was just about to say maybe Sidney's the writer.
Yeah, it's definitely possible he could be the writer, because I mean, who better than a genie to create a magical book that have control of a magical book that tells everything?
Right.
And
I was just gonna say that Hope actually pointed out we have no idea how old Sidney is.
This is true.
He's a genie, and we know that Cyrus lived a couple hundred years as a genie. So he could be older than Rumpel, and he could have been putting everything.
So I have a random theory now.
I love
So what if Yensid, Sidney, whoever he is maybe the ultimate, like you said, Bill, the ultimate bad guy, or maybe the very first Dark One?
That could be cool.
Oh.
Yeah,
because he said no one knew who how old he was. He could, if Sidney is Yensid, he could possibly be the very first Dark One, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean
that's why we haven't seen Rumpel interaction.
Yeah, in the very first Dark One, I would assume the very first Dark One could have found a way to retain like the Dark One stuff, the magic,
he was the Dark
without
One.
The curse,
Right.
Or maybe he created the curse to get rid of.
To pass it on.
Or something like that.
Take one, pass it on.
I do like that theory.
I know he said that no other Dark One will hold this power. The apprentice said that or something like that. But maybe he did that so no one else could get that power but him, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely see that. One thing I wanted to point out here real quick before I lose track of it, Jessica, I came across this. I was listening to The Lost Princess of Oz, the audiobook a couple weeks ago. And
It's
they
just
were
funny
talking
to hear you say, I was
but-
listening to The Lost Princess of Oz. Sorry.
But they were talking
Shiny
about this great book of records here. You'll see here, and it's featured in a lot of different Oz books, and it sounds a lot like the storybook. I'll read a little description of it here. It basically says, the smallest things and the biggest things are all recorded in this book, from a child stomping its foot in anger to a city burning down. And Glenda the Good Witch, she reads the record book every day. So I'm thinking, especially considering the Wicked Witch went porcelain, it's been very heavily implied by several people, like cast members and stuff, that Wicked Witch will be back.
She'll be back.
Maybe this book, the storybook, is actually the book of records from Oz. Just a thought, and I'm basically saying it so I can point back to this episode and say, see, I was right.
I was right.
Exactly. Okay, let's see here. Anne-Marie, you had some costuming.
I always have costuming problems. These aren't nearly as ranty as usual. First of all, Elsa, and I know many people have said this, so it's not, like an original idea or anything. But where did you get a purple cape?
Yes.
You did not appear with a purple cape.
And
Nobody
why didn't you get like a dress or a pair of jeans?
Can we hem your dress, like
maybe a nice set of running sneakers?
It's not a hiking dress.
No,
it's
not a let me go out in the woods type of dress. It's not,
I'm surprised
material.
Twigs and leaves and all that didn't get caught up in the train or something like that.
It looks to be very fragile material. So,
plus there's the whole when in Rome do as the Romans do kind of thing. You want to kind of assimilate to your surroundings,
right?
Maybe.
Not that Marion ever did that, and then she froze and is dying on a couch. But okay, Snow looked so much better this week.
Mm-hmm.
She did not look like a frumpy old maid. She had, something a little trendier on. And, she still looks like a woman who just had a baby because she is a woman who just had a baby.
Yeah, but she had like that night. What was that? Like a salmon-colored sweater and stuff like that.
I thought it was a jacket.
No, she had the black and white with the sleeves underneath.
And then Amy, you said it was a jacket that I'm thinking.
It looked like a jacket to me.
Oh, I actually saw it more as like a long sleeve shirt, and then she had like kind of a vest, but not really a vest type of black and white thing on. It had the angles. It was trendier. Let's just go with that. Hope, I know you know the name of this Tumblr. Find out how much it cost. I'm putting you to work. And Emma, I really liked the white sweater, like the creamy white sweater. I
like that too.
Because
her ponytail. And her ponytail, that should have been her hair last episode, not that weird ponytail. That's the ponytail she probably should have worn it.
Yes, yes. Last week she just looked fake. This week she looked like a real human.
I want to see her in that dress sitting in Granny's diner eating like a hamburger or something.
No, she has to have a malted milkshake with one straw.
Or hot chocolate with cinnamon.
Of course, hot chocolate with cinnamon.
Lasagna.
Oh, the lasagna. But yeah, so those were pretty much all I had for costuming.
Costuming. And that new costume they have Will Scarlet in. Wonderful. Very reminiscent of something I've seen before, though.
Like the thing he's wearing last week?
Possibly.
Yeah, it was like a sweater.
Okay, let's see. Amy, you had a couple points here you wanted to point out here.
Oh, hold on, pause before you even go there. Patty pointed out that they had the book of records already in last season. Remember, Glenda pulled it out, and that's how we knew.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So your entire theory just went.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because that was all in flashback, wasn't it?
We didn't look inside the book, and we've looked inside the book before, so it still could have been the book, or someone could have changed it. Maybe
Sidney broke into Glenda's place and copied the book of records.
Maybe.
Broken with a photocopier. He probably has a printing press. He was the editor of the Mirror. So.
Sorry. Bobby Hawk just said she got the purple cape from the Storybrooke Goodwill.
Nice. Okay, Amy, you had a couple last points you wanted to address here.
Oh yeah, Belle storyline. She's kind of been a disappointment to me this season, just because she seems to be just standing there. I don't know if it's to me, it seems like it's more of a contract issue. Like, they have her for a full season, so they need to use her at some point, some point. So even if it's just standing there or the one line or something like that. Although, based on the previews for next week, it seems like that'll change, hopefully. But
mention because one of our listeners, and
Nani.
Yeah, Nani, I believe listens to every Once Upon a Time podcast ever, but actually left a comment on our letters post today saying that I guess that Belle, Emily DeRaven,
Yes.
has been actually filming a movie. So, like, all the scenes of her up to this point have been kind of like she just, like, showed up on set for, like, an hour to
she
shoot
did all
her
of them?
scene. Or, I mean, for, like,
one?
each individual scene.
Drove
just,
in
like,
for
her
30
showing...
minutes.
Exactly. Drove in for 30 minutes and filmed the scene and then went back to her movie.
Interesting.
But I guess from here on out, starting next week, which we'll talk about the promo in a couple minutes, it's going to be very Belle-centric, and she's going to have a lot to do.
Thank goodness, and she didn't even get a line this week.
And Amy, you also wanted to point out this one other thing too, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was funny that Prince Charming made a Thor reference when Josh Dallas was in the original Thor movie. That made the episode for me just because I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, the fall through a portal to Asgard.
Yeah. Well, and then we also have Thor's hammer over in the old Rumble Castle, and you said something like there's runes on Thor's hammer?
Yeah, there were runes on Thor's hammer, like we saw on the urn a couple weeks ago. So I mean, if runes become a big thing, which we'll talk about that in a second,
right?
Then that could tie in Thor's
And
hammer.
the runes kind of remind me of Lord of the Ring, elvish kind of writing you would see in the movies or something like that. That's what I always kind of thought they looked like to me.
Oh, definitely. It's like anytime you have some sort of fantasy setting, 9 times out of 10 they have some sort of weird language they've made up with its own symbols and everything else.
And this is where I go. They studied ancient runes in Harry Potter. Yeah, that's all I got. No Oblo Thor.
Something I thought I would mention about the Thor reference, though, I noticed a couple people while pointing it out online, they were like, well, Josh Dallas wasn't in the second Thor movie because he was on once and couldn't make it. From what I heard, it was actually because they wanted Zachary Levi in the role originally, and they couldn't get him, so they cast Josh Dallas, and the second time they could get him.
Oh.
So that's why Josh Dallas wasn't asked back
it was
for
like,
the second one.
Peace
out. Okay, you know what?
We talked about that. I don't really need mine if we don't need it.
Yeah, we already talked about Lily. So why don't we do just a minute or two of yelling out random notes?
Okay.
So you can go ahead and go from your list here if you want to.
Okay. There's no online class for magic.
Sidney getting frustrated with Regina. Good.
Get a warm coat.
Regina and Emma Swan Queen fans probably love this.
Prince and Princess.
Hey, how did Lilith's dad find her?
Oh.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
GPS tracker.
What was that?
GPS tracker.
In the 90s? No. You have a family? The ultimate betrayal.
Is the Snow Queen's hideout in the Fortress of Solitude? I was wondering.
No sheriff line?
Oh, what was
Go
that,
ahead.
Amy?
No sheriff line? The whole, I'm a wife of the sheriff, I'm the mother of the sheriff, but and then Will goes something like, well, how can you pardon me? And she goes, I'm the mayor. Well, then he set it up.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
Scene was
That
just
was
a delight.
awesome. Where did the other mirror pieces come from?
Bring back Guyliner again. The Frozen stuff felt really tacked on. But I love the stuff.
Emma's boxer for pal. Oh.
Oh, we're echoing. Amy.
And what?
Yeah, that's you.
We can hear you now. Did you change anything?
No, I haven't touched my computer.
That's weird. Yeah, because
But you guys are kind of cutting out for me too, so I don't know what.
Here, you know what? Let's get a random scale here real quick. Okay, out of 130 enemies, how many enemies would you give episode damage?
What was the number again?
333.
It was not.
200. I liked bits and pieces of it, but not wasn't my favorite episode of the season.
Excellent. Okay, Amy, since you're echoing, we're going to go ahead and dump you.
Okay.
But thank you so much for joining.
No problem.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Talk soon.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Anne-Marie.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Amy. It was just we couldn't concentrate.
No.
Okay, out of 332 frenemies.
323. I put it in the chat. But mostly because you kept changing it.
323 frenemies. Anne-Marie, what do you give
I
it?
like that whole 200 thing.
200? Not liking it so much?
Dude, I fell asleep. I watched the second time through, speed up.
Sped up, yeah.
I know speak English. And it was still boring. It was fast and boring. So, how about you?
I'd give it 175, which is pretty low.
Wow,
yeah.
You gave it lower than me?
I did.
Makes me rethink mine.
The things I liked about it, I really liked. I really liked the Emma backstory. I really liked, if nothing else, the moves that Sidney made this episode and the potential those moves had. But overall, it felt like a bunch of disconnected vignettes that had a bunch of Frozen stuff tacked on that didn't fit. It just...
I actually didn't feel too much Frozen stuff. Like, the characters were there, but there wasn't Frozen. There was Snow Queen garbage.
I think that was the problem. Like, last week...
They're going to throw things at me now because I said Snow Queen garbage, but whatever.
But last week there was a lot of that stuff, but it all kind of tied in nice to all the more once proper stuff that was going on.
Right.
And this week just didn't have that. It was there just to be there.
Yeah.
And Elsa was there just to be there, and it was night because it needed to be night. And, it was uneven overall. But here's to next week. Hopefully it will be...
Cheers to next week.
Drink some haterade.
Drink my haterade.
Okay, let's see here. Real quick, we're going to talk, and we want to thank Audible for sponsoring this week's episode
Audible, yay!
of Greetings from Storybrooke. They're back. And if you don't know what Audible is, it's a service where you can go and you sign up, and you get a free credit a month to get an audiobook.
A free credit?
Yeah. Well, you have to pay for the subscription, of course.
You pay for the subscription, but you get the free credit.
And then you get a free credit. Yeah, you get a credit, and you can get any audiobook you want. And it's real convenient because you can throw it on your MP3 player, your iPod. Some cars take them.
Some Androids.
iPad, probably Apple TV,
Desktop.
maybe Apple TV.
Creative Zune.
Anything you can sync to
Windows.
iTunes with DRM, you're good to go. And then you can listen to audiobooks while you're running, while you're driving. You can keep up on your reading, which is always good, especially like your nonfiction reading. And we always like to give people a couple of options for audiobooks when they're taking advantage of the very generous 30-day free trial Audibles offering for our listeners, and we both picked nonfiction.
We did.
Anne-Marie, what was your
Well,
pick?
I don't know if mine's really nonfiction.
Well, it's nonfiction.
It's fictional nonfiction?
About fiction, yeah.
Okay. Due to the numerous Harry Potter references this week, I'm going with Harry, a History. The true story of a boy wizard, his fans, and the life inside the Harry Potter phenomenon.
By Melissa Anelli. And it's 10 hours and 58 minutes. So
that might be my next download.
Yes.
Just saying.
A lot of history there. And since Emma seems to keep so many random pieces of junk from her life, I decided to pick The Hoarder in You, How to Live a Happier, Healthier, Uncluttered Life. Some people might say that Emma's unhappiness rises from the fact that she lost her parents when she was born and had to break a curse and all that. I think it's because she's a hoarder. So I think if she eliminates, some of that clutter, she's going to be feeling a lot better, and her boyfriends are going to be staying a lot more alive. For sure. Now, we want to thank Audible again for sponsoring this week's episode, and to get your free audiobook download so you can try out the service, see if you like it, which you will.
You
guaranteed.
will. It's a good time.
Go to audibletrial.com/Storybrooke for your free audiobook, and we want to thank them again for sponsoring this week's episode.
Thank you, Audible, and I would just like to point out that we are alone in our principles of hating this. What? Oh, Hope's yelling things. Hold on, I'll come back to that.
Oh, you have some arbitrary scales for us.
Oh, I do. I have
chat room.
Bobby Hawk gives it a 300. Patty gives it an 85%. Hope also gives it a 300. Apparently, we are the only ones who did not like this.
I feel bad. I feel bad for
I
the
don't
haterade.
because I believe we were the only ones who hated Tallahassee as well.
We are generally, our reputation is as a
Very
pretty positive podcast.
True story.
So I think we're allowed to have haterade once in a while. Also, Hope mentions that she's in the Harry Potter book.
No, her friends are. Read
Her
the
friends.
entire sentence.
No, she says, my friends are in that book. I'm in
Oh,
that
you're
book.
in. Oh, okay. I'll read
So,
the entire sentence
yeah.
then. How's that?
And
Okay.
now, on to the news.
Oh,
News. Okay, first up, and I see Amy still sitting there. Sorry, Amy. Like
Hi, Amy.
Here, let's see if the echoing.
Let's try it again.
Can I hear myself back?
Yes,
I
we
can't.
can. Do it again.
We can hear you, but we talk. We hear ourselves back. I'm sorry. I saw the dogs though.
I see the puppy. We like the puppy.
Okay, here we go. First up is the ratings, and the ratings is 6.6 million people watched and 2.3 million share, which was down 19 and 15% respectively, which hit a season low demo rating, but also they were up a tenth over last year. So doing better than last year, but the worst for the season, more or less.
You'll have that.
You take the good, you take the bad.
You take them all.
Was there something interesting in the chat room?
Nope, I was reading. Hope had a series.
Okay, that's fair.
Hope speaks in small spurts. I have to catch up with them.
Okay, well, let's see
Oh,
here.
the
Let's go ahead
preview.
and
Yay!
take a look at the preview for
Outclassed No
Family
Queen.
Business. As always, we watch this
The
because we don't want
business,
YouTube
the
to take it down, and we tell you what's happening. Okay, so let's see here.
Get
Walking through the
family
woods.
Out my business. Runes.
A lot of runes.
Was
a
that a
scroll of
truck?
runes. Yeah, it was an ice cream truck, I think.
Of course.
And
it was
then
an
there's
ice cream truck.
Anna.
Anna and Elsa
And
back
Elsa,
in the day.
Elsa in her formal gown.
The box.
And the dagger.
The dagger.
And Belle with the dagger. And
Belle
climbing
and
a mountain.
Anna.
On a mountain.
I need a timeline.
I need a timeline.
Timelines. You're better left buried, Snow Queen.
Yeah, but it looks really interesting. Definitely looks very interesting. You okay there?
I'm
You're gonna
dying.
make it. Anne-Marie's gonna die. So I'll need a new co-host next week. When we're watching Family Business, and as always,
Family
you can get those links and the links to everything else we talked about tonight at greetingsfromstorybrooke.com. And we also put a post up there every week of the letters that don't make it into our feedback segment. So even if you think, oh, everyone's going to be talking this week, go ahead and send feedback, and if nothing else, we'll get it up on the blog.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some feedback to go over this week.
Yes. Is that starting with me?
It is in a minute.
Oh.
But I wanted to let everyone know, after you're done watching Family Business
here we go.
next week, I just need you to pull out your smartphone and email us, greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com, Twitter @GSStorybrooke, Facebook is facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke, and the voicemail number, which we almost always play, is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Again, I have to stress, just pull out your smartphone and do it from there, because I hear people have been doing like weird things, like jumping out of windows, causing traffic accidents, threatening their family with knives, things like that.
No threatening
to get
with
to their
daggers.
computers.
No wavy
Don't
knives.
do that. Just
no
pull out your
wavy
smartphone,
knives.
type it in. We're good to go. And we'll start out with some voicemails here.
Wow.
The first one we have is from Dawn Owar.
Pause.
Oh, what's that?
Hope pointed out that, did you see the TV line ratings had adjusted from Rocky Road? It was raised 48% of its original rating. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a pretty significant jump there.
Yes, quite a bit. Okay, but we'll start off with this voicemail from Dawn that we got a little bit after we recorded our episode last week, but it'll all make sense.
Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie. This is Donna War. How you doing? I don't expect you to use this. I'm always off timing-wise. I'm listening to your podcast right now. So that's what I do. I watch the show. I listen to the podcast at work during the week. I've been with you guys the whole time. So I'm also watching Gotham as well. If you ever want me to be a guest on any of your shows, I am perfectly willing. Just give me a heads up ahead of time so I can watch the show at the right time to tell you about, but then they won't matter by the time you get to the next podcast anyway, because I am behind. I always want to talk back to you when I listen to the podcast. I actually do talk back to you, but you don't hear it. So I thought I'd give you a call, let you know I'm here, let you know I'm listening, let you know I'm talking back. There's so many points that I would like to make, and none of them will matter in your next podcast. So, and Gotham, too. I watch Gotham the same way. Hi, it's Donna War again. Hi, I'm just you think like Anna, like with all the love that she seems to have for Elsa while she's packing Rumpelstiltskin and doing all this business, doesn't seem to care a thing about like how she's about to get married to this dude. Like, she doesn't care about him. She only cares about Elsa. It's really weird. I thought that was weird. Anyway, here's my crazy theory. You ready for a crazy theory? Do we do that on the show? Well, we do that on this show now. Sarah Fisher, like Sarah Connor, maybe she's from the future. That's all I got. All right, bye.
I love both of those messages.
There were more. Those were edited together.
Yeah. The first one was longer. Yeah. But it all had a lot of very episode-specific stuff, so
it was still
I didn't want to distract you much. But thank you so much, Dawn. And we need to have you on soon. Go to that form, bit.ly/beyondgreetings.
True story.
And put your name there just so I have it there when I go to do it, because I always forget if I don't have it there.
Yeah, we won't remember.
But next up is actually our guest from last week, Hope. She sent in a voicemail this week.
Hey, guys, it's Hope. I absolutely love this week's episode. I was so happy to like it because you guys know how much I hated last week's episode. But the biggest thing I wanted to really point out is I'm starting to have a theory that they're setting the naval parts up for something really big. But I'm starting to wonder, what is he looking for? What is he digging for? Why does he need a travel sack when he has an apartment in Storybrooke? And then I started thinking more about the Ice Queen. We know that his sister died in an ice lake and she drowned. And so originally my big theory was that he was going to be related to the Ice Queen, and then we found out that it was Elsa. But I'm starting to think that more and more, you know. The Ice Queen was really focusing on the mirror this episode. Well, what did Will steal from Maleficent? He stole a looking glass, and that's how you get to Wonderland. And maybe that's how he's trying to get back to Anna. So I think they're starting to build something bigger. 2 more quick points. I love Josh Dallas's line about Asgard because I miss him as Sandral, and he was perfect in the role. And I wish they would get away from the Disney-based stuff over the literary-based stuff. It feels so heavily Disney this season. And the reason why Neverland was so good is because they based it all on the book, not the Disney movie. So I hope they go back to being more literary-based in the second half. Can't wait to hear you guys. Bye.
There's definitely something cooking with Will.
Oh, yeah, it's cooking.
Yeah,
it is cooking.
And I like watching it cook.
I'd like it to cook a little bit faster. Let's turn it up.
We should probably also cook this episode a little bit faster since we're almost at an hour now.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, we only have feedback.
Okay, we have a couple small bits here real quick. These are just little things that didn't quite make it into the episode.
Go.
Okay, Holly said she thinks we should keep an eye on Sidney, but we already are.
Rachel mentioned she's not into the Frozen storyline, and whoever called the Snow Queen was dead on. Bill guessed it first, but probably not really.
Alina noted that she still wants to know why the Knave is back in Storybrooke. I'm guessing he upset John Lithgow.
Other Anne-Marie confessed that she was a little all over the place, but Sidney betrayed Regina, is still cold on the Snow Queen, and loved Snow's costume in this episode. Less frumpy, right? She looked nice.
And finally, Victoria said she'll be glad when the Frozen part is over, and she's also glad that Belle will have something to do next week. All hail Victoria, speaker of truths. Okay, you want to read Chris Tipton's letter?
Sure,
here?
Sorry, I was hailing Victoria. Scrolled too far. Okay, hey y'all. I felt like Emma's backstory just rehashed what we've seen so many times. She trusted someone and got hurt. It did jive well with her and Regina's plot in this episode. Those two are amazing together as always. We got to see more Will than we've seen so far. His line, "Somebody's already had a nibble," is one of my all-time favorite lines. Sidney portrayed Regina. Didn't see that one coming. Elizabeth Mitchell as the Snow Queen is so epic. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that, Christopher. No Rumple. It is very convenient and easy for Elsa to break out of her chains. And how did Emma just still have that camera? Snow and Charming's story just seemed silly to me. Overall, my least favorite episode of the year. Thank you, Haterade. But still strong, simply because Elizabeth Mitchell. 37,500 out of 50,000 Pop-Tarts. That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, definitely.
And sprinkles.
That reminds me, I did like how they had the Pop-Tarts connecting the old Emma.
I loved that.
But thank you, Chris, and thank you for not liking the episode, because everyone in the chat
we were alone in our principles.
Okay, next up is Rain. Rain says, "Good day, Bill and Anne-Marie."
Well, good day to you, Rain.
The following statements are rantish. To help in keeping with the peaceful tone, you can read them with the Snow Queen's voice.
How are you going to do that?
Tonight's episode, to be very honest, is a mess. Okay, so there's the original Snow Queen reference, the mirror, which she tries to build like a puzzle, and the last piece is Regina's pocket
Where's the fast forward button?
Regina's pocket makeup mirror with Sidney in it. I don't understand why it's important. It's not even the mirror that Regina used to trap Sidney. I kind of got the impression that it was like transmuted, like shrunken down for travel or something.
Something like that.
But let's see. I also think the writers need to stop putting giant creatures in Storybrooke because, to be honest, they look so cartoonish and cheap. Kind of agree.
Completely agree.
Emery claps. The plot moved from very little from last week's episode to think there are lots of things to focus on, i.e. Will's arrival to Storybrooke, Elsa and Emma's memory loss, Henry's apprenticeship to Rumple, Snow's mayoral duties, doesn't include giving a pardon to a prisoner just for pleasure, etc. I wish next week's episode will be a lot better. This goes to be my least favorite episode of this season so far.
Yes.
And I didn't pick these out just because they were haterade. These are just the letters I picked this week. Sorry if I can't send a voicemail. Apparently, it's easier finding the missing Mulan than sending a voicemail from Manila to you.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize you were in Manila.
Yep. And that's the same reason why I can't get a shirt.
Oh, God. The shipping would be horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. If you download the logo, you can print out your own shirt.
Sure.
P.S. Did somebody try to create a fairy tale world map with every kingdom of the Enchanted Forest plus Arendelle, which I assume is very distant? I hope one will pop out somewhere. Actually, hope you can create them. We can't create them. Somewhere out there.
Somebody, please.
If someone out there created it and sent it to us,
we would post it.
We'd put it everywhere.
We would blast it on the social medias. Okay, next.
Thank you, Rain.
Yes, thank you, Rain. Hey, Ann and Bill. Anne Marie. And Bill, hope everyone's feeling better. Feeling great, thanks. Man, I think we all got hit by the allergies last week. And speaking of being free, that was definitely a theme this week. Sidney, the knave, Elsa, even Emma attempting to break the ice with Regina. Oh my gosh, young Emma. Oh my heart. Dun, dun, dun. Evil messing around with memory things, and the star bit reminded me of how she later got the flower tattoo and has a star keychain and other stars all over season 1. Hashtag sneaky knave digging holes made me think of rabbit ones. Is he looking for Percy? That poor rabbit.
I thought maybe the star might tie into the hat.
Oh, yeah, probably. On that note, going to give this one 6.5 Ice Warriors out of 10. Hugs and cheers, Ash.
Thank you, Ash. And
Hugs and cheers to you.
I always love Ash's letters. They're always so frantic and
I know,
fun.
and I have to read them that way because it just makes it more entertaining for me.
Okay, well, we are running a little long. Thanks to everyone who stuck around tonight. We usually record these over on Google Plus Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. EST. Also thank you, Amy, for sorry we had to kind of cut you loose there.
I know, I'm sorry.
But it was just it was too hard to talk. But Emery, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Twitters at DeSimone or on my blog at CCHC blog on Twitter or crunchycrafty.com.
And as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow me on Google Plus, which is good because that's where we post
That's where we are at the moment.
Post the live episodes is google.com/+BillMeeks. And you can find the words I write, the stories I write about a young superhero named Dogboy at dogboyadventures.com. A new one of those coming out pretty soon too. All right. Well, I hope next week gets better because I hate being haterade.
I hate haterade,
but it's constructive haterade.
It is. We're trying.
And we'll continue to try until next time. Greetings from
Storybrooke. Sorry, I didn't realize you were there already.
It's fine. It happens.
I was reading.
Bye everybody.